Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Parent Pod. Every week, we are joined with all of you. This hour's for you. We're here to bring you a little bit of fun, a little bit of resources, actually a lot of fun, right? Right, ladies?
Yeah, I was just going to say, what's this little fun? I'm not sure what that is.
Oh my goodness! I got this in the background.
Love that song so much,
this week, don't you? I do. We adjusted the music, and I think it's so much better. So this week we. Oh my
goodness! Sound down. Turn it down.
Okay, we got audio going everywhere. Okay, sorry. Let's start over. So this hour's for you, and we're bringing you a lot of fun. And we're also going to be joined by local dad and chef Brandon Babiarz, the chef at Marshland Restaurants in Sandwich tonight. We are also going to have a really fun question of the night again, and randomly, we will pick anyone who comments with the answer to the question later this evening. And you can win a $20 gift card to Marshland's Restaurant donated by Chef Brandon. Yes. And we're also going to be spreading a little kindness too, right, ladies?
Absolutely.
Thank goodness we had another kindness nomination. I was getting worried that people, didn't love anybody in the local community.
Nobody likes their friends.
That can't be true.
So, we want to tell you all, you can share questions for our guests. You can submit acts of nomination for kindness. You can submit funny stories that we'll keep anonymous and share. And so definitely check out this link tree right here at the bottom of our page and get involved because we want to hear from you. So without further ado, ladies, by the way, it's been a week, right?
It's been a week, yes.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I got the extra big glass for today.
Oh, don't you worry. You got the extra big one. Same with me. Oh, I love it. I love it.
I got like one of those seltzers. I got one of the seltzers, and then I poured cranberry Edie's vodka on top.
No, I love it.
Like a double dose.
That's fantastic.
I mean, it's February vacation, the first night, and it's like... Ooh.
We're all just coming down from school, hecticness, and...
Yeah.
Okay, we can settle now.
And it's going to be a lot of togetherness. Again. Like we haven't had enough.
A lot of togetherness.
Somebody tell me when it's mom vacation time, okay? I want to know... When's the private jet coming? I want out just for a couple days.
I'd take a couple hours at this point.
A couple hours.
So I'm actually gonna I'll throw up the question of the night just to get us started here, and then we'll kind of comment on it later. But again, comment for a chance to win a $20 gift card to Marshland Restaurants. And the question of the night is: if you could pick 3 famous people to be in your entourage, who would you pick? So make sure you comment below. And tonight, by the way, stay tuned because we're going to be sharing some recipes that Chef Brandon has provided us to do with the kids that are super easy and the kids love them and they taste great. So without further ado, should we bring on Chef Babiarz?
Yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
Let's bring him on. Here we go. Hi, Brandon. Welcome to our show. How are you?
Hey, ladies. Thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you. And for everybody who doesn't know, I know I've said it a couple times, but you are the head chef at Marshland Restaurants in Sandwich. And why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself to everyone who might not know you?
So I'm a stepfather of 1, a biological father of 2. I live and work in Sandwich, Massachusetts. Work for a family business. My mother's one of the owners of Marshlands, along with her partner, Marty Finch. And I am no different than anyone out there who's working through the pandemic and the constant changes and, just trying to keep my head above water, I guess, is an easy way to say it.
It's been a challenge, right?
A lot of pivoting, but we're getting really good at it at this point.
we're good adapters. And I'm actually really lucky. I've actually went to school with Brandon. We are both Blue Knight Sandwich High School grads. So native Cape Codders. We're going to call ourselves natives. We'll just stick with that.
Clearly.
Okay? We're just going to stick with that. We've been here long enough. But I think that's what's nice about the Cape. You're in a family business. I work for a family business. There's a lot of that going on, and a lot of our school age kids. We've come back to the Cape to raise our families here because it really is a great community, and everybody's kind of entrenched with each other. And I think that's really special because it's not the same anywhere else, for me at least.
Yeah, I bounced around and I came back because the Northeast is just so normal.
Yeah.
Each their own and to whatever makes them happy. But 4 seasons and, just New England it's a great place to be. And here in Cape Cod, we kind of live in a nice protected little bubble, to be 100%. So.
You really do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Brandon, you've been at Marshland Restaurants for how many years now?
On and off since they bought the business back in 2001. I was finishing up with culinary school and, I grew up on the Cape and I wanted out like so many young kids. So I kind of bounced around the country and I learned a little bit. I had a lot of fun. And then eventually it was time to kind of think about settling down. So I came back in my late 20s and here I am.
Excellent. And why did you go into the culinary industry?
I always say it's by default. My first job, I should say that it was my second job. It was the first job I really liked. And my family had been in the industry and it just made sense to me. I found comfort in the chaos and, there was never a dull moment at work. So I feel like it was easy to stay engaged. And I just started to really like doing it.
Awesome. Food is kind of a part of community gathering. Historically, people break bread, and that's where a lot of good things happen. People come together. Things, even arguments can be settled over a good plate of food and a good meal together. One of the things that I wanted to ask you. So, how did you end up back in Sandwich? Was it just to raise the family and then work with mom, or?
No. I just I had finished kind of a West Coast tour. I did time in Taos, New Mexico, Southern California, and Seattle. And I think I was just ready to come home for a little while and bagged a really good job in Falmouth. And, one thing led to another. And like I said, it's just home. It feels right. It feels comfortable. So, there was no specific draw. I met my wife a few years later, so there were no family plans at the point when I moved back. Just very organic, just felt right.
And so you at one point were with Legal Seafoods, is that correct?
No, I worked it was a Union Seafood.
Union.
Yeah, Union Fish. So there was one in Plymouth and one in the Hingham Shipyard. It was a company called Dram Shop Hospitality that, had as many as 5 restaurants at one point. Great. It was really a fun time. I got to bounce around between the 5 restaurants. So again, that engagement was always there. I was always doing something a little different than the day before. So just kind of had some fun with it. But Hingham was an interesting place. Right across the street from Almanova and Wahlburgers. So that the plaza was just always a buzz. It was a really good time up there.
Where's your favorite place that you've worked?
All right, so I did see that question on there. So my very first culinary internship was on Sanibel Island, Florida.
Ooh.
And their brother had a friend who owned a restaurant called the Twilight Cafe. And begrudgingly, he agreed to take on his best friend's little brother for a culinary internship. And I think at first he washed dishes or bussed tables, and I jumped one day and kind of stood next to him and was capable. I had years of experience prior to going to culinary school. He became an amazing mentor, amazing friend. But Sanibel Island was just another very special place. I always used to make a joke that it was south of Florida. because it didn't feel like that, concrete jungle Florida. There were dirt roads and we were right on the water no matter where you were. So Twilight Cafe on Sanibel Island is probably going to have to be my answer there. And a close second behind that is Blue and Mashpee Commons.
Oh, Blue's a good. Blue's
yeah,
good.
Chef Fred there is he is top notch in the absolute 1 percentile for just being a chef and a dad and a mentor and a businessman. He is really an awesome guy. I would suggest to anyone who hasn't tried Blue before, go give him a shot. You won't be disappointed.
I like that you brought up Sanibel because that's where I want to go on vacation as soon as this pandemic's over.
Sanibel and Captiva, that's where it's at.
Right? For those of you who haven't been, I mean, you go out onto one of those beaches out there and it's like, I mean, I've compared it to like the edge of the world. Like you're about to step off into heaven because there's literally no one around and it's just beach and it's the most peaceful place that I can think of.
Go to the Mucky Duck for sunset on the end of Captiva. And enjoy.
Or the Bubble Room for their famous desserts. Yep. Oh my gosh. See, I just want to get on the plane right now. I can't though. So what, we talked a little bit about earlier, I just said about food being intertwined with community and breaking of the bread. Why do you think that is? Why is it that food is so intrinsically part of the community and part of all the different things?
A big commonality. We all have to eat. There's no other way to survive. So we can disagree about everything, but we can't disagree about the fact that we have to have a meal at some point. I feel like a ton of, especially American traditions, just have a connection of food to them. Thanksgiving is one of the busiest times at Marshland. And we all typically eat what we consider a traditional Thanksgiving meal. So, it tends to be a time where a family comes together. Sometimes family you don't see all the time. That occasion just turns into a reason. And that reason always leads you to a table because it just always includes a meal. So, I think even beyond that, it's a social, it's social. It's where we're around each other. We're having a good time. I know you mentioned Sandwich Fest on here that we'll talk about. But there's just so many community ties to food. I think another big thing is the sense of smell is the sense that's most tied to memory. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, you only taste sour, sweet, salty, and bitter. Everything else is what you smell and how your brain kind of determines texture. So there's just so many connections involving what we eat to just tradition.
You're alluding to like sensory stimulation and how important that is. That's funny you say that because the other day, I don't know what it was. Something triggered my smell sense in the office from down the hall from the restaurant. And it brought back this memory. And I go to my dad, that's crazy because it just brought back this whole memory of high school and a certain class. And I was like, why is that tied to my memory? It just came raging back. And I'm like, wow, that was crazy just from a smell.
Smell, that's all it takes. And it really transport you back. It's like I said, it's the sense that is most tied to memory is the sense of smell. So
food is really an experience, Absolutely. What's your favorite thing to make?
I make a Christmas brunch every year. And it's kind of standard American fare. I guess, I go a little off the rails by making eggs Benedict. But it's always a meal that I've hosted at my house, which again is just one of those family times where we get to see everybody. So I'm going to say, that Christmas brunch is probably my favorite thing to make.
Do you cook at home too after having to cook in
Yep. Yeah. I try never to look at it as a task when I'm at home. My wife is an amazing cook and she cooks a ton too. But we do our best to eat at home as much as possible, and to make it ourselves. So there are times where I don't love to do it, but it's okay. I don't mind. So
personally, full disclosure, I have struggled. I like baking. I like cooking. I don't always feel motivated to do it at all. I'm very lucky that my husband although it's not his favorite thing, he does cook the majority of the time. He probably wishes I did it more, because when I do it, I do a good job, but I'm just not always motivated. And I don't know if that's from childhood and having been an athlete and having been a swimmer. You kind of watched your calories. You had to take enough, but you learned bad eating habits as a swimmer. I mean, we would carbo load at Papa Gino's and McDonald's, on the way back from swim meets. I mean, that wasn't healthy, but I mean, we were burning all those calories, but I didn't learn the best eating habits. So I think it made me a little averse to wanting to enjoy cooking. What about you ladies? Do you cook and enjoy it, or?
I'm the worst cook in America. Literally. I'm telling you right now, Brandon, you should have seen me trying to do that soup. I mean, you would have thought I was trying to learn a different language. Putting a soup in a blender?
Mind blown.
Blew Kelly's mind. Oh, we cook all the time at home. We bake more than we cook, probably, because again, I have the motivation problem too sometimes, because I have one child and myself, and she's very picky.
Yep.
She never used to be, but she is now. It's super hard to feed her dinner. But baked goods, oh no, all day long she'd eat that. So
yeah, give me the sugar, give me the brownies. I mean,
terrible.
It doesn't, it's not great after, but it's great when it's happening.
Right.
It's great when it's happening. Brandon, let's talk a little bit about your volunteer work, because you're a big giver to the community as well. You were the chair. Are you still the chair? You were the chair of the Sandwich Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, so I just I took over as the chair with our annual meeting at the end of October. And it's a 2-year term, and then I'll serve 1 year as the past chair. And that'll bring my tenure to, I want to say, 8 years at that point.
Wow.
So I've served on the board prior to that. That's been an awesome experience for me. I was so nervous and tentative at first. And, once you get comfortable with the process, it's just an awesome collective of people who volunteer their time, who, own or operate businesses locally. And it's awesome networking opportunity. To any sandwich businesses out there that aren't members of the Chamber of Commerce, I would implore them to, at least go talk to Denise Dever. She's the executive director, and listen to what the Chamber can do for you, because they're an amazing resource that I think we all wish businesses would take more advantage of. But the things I've learned sitting on that board and from the other directors, it's invaluable. I'm super lucky to be a part of it.
Absolutely. The best kind of collaboration comes when people work together, no matter what it is. And it's always good when I've been part of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce and obviously the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce. And there's just so many great people out there and so many good ideas, and people are always willing to kind of lean in and nurture things. And it really is. It makes it all about the community. How can we boost business? Because a healthy business in the community leads to healthier families, a healthier community. It's giving back. I mean, there's just so many benefits to it. That's a whole nother topic.
I was just going to say, you could go on forever with that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I definitely could. You were also part of Sandwich Fest.
Yeah, so that's one of the subcommittees. The Chamber of Commerce sponsors that event and runs it every year. And it was one of the subcommittees that I was a part of. It really is one of the coolest events to see all the work that goes into it. And Donna Coutil, who owns Scenic Roots down on 6A in Sandwich, is an absolute wizard and has it down to a science, and is, I think, trying to pass the torch along. Not that any of us would ever be able to fill her shoes, because she has it down. She has an amazing sense of organization, and she's such a good motivator. But, it's such a cool event. I think it's one of the bigger events in the town of Sandwich. So many
Is that
people.
A food-focused event, Brandon? Is that all?
I'm going to say that it is and it isn't. It's a street fair, essentially.
Okay.
In the years past, although there may be some changes this coming year, there has always been a best sandwich and sandwich competition.
That's fun.
How do I get to judge that?
I might get you there.
I want to be celebrity guest judge for that. I want to judge the sandwiches.
That's fun.
So yeah, we've had as many as I want to say 13 or 14 restaurants at a time. There's about 25 to 30 what we would consider qualifying restaurants in Sandwich, that have full service operations that could offer it. There's perennials that are there every single year. I think they look at it as more of like a community service engagement. We only sell 700 tickets, so it is limited in what you need to produce. For the street fair as a whole, though, it's just open, to the general public, and they do a dog parade, and Horton Burgess usually pitches. It's really a
When
great
is
day.
this
It's
usually?
usually all right. So this is usually the
Oh,
Oh,
we might have lost Brandon for a second. I forget
you
when
lost
sandwich.
me for a while.
We did. Sometimes, technical difficulties.
I think
So
my
while we're
my
waiting for
technology
Brandon to
is
come
broken.
back, let's get him back here. Don't forget to answer our question. Okay, Brandon, we lost you for a second. Go ahead.
Have you done that yet?
talking too much. The camera was telling me to be quiet.
No, I love it.
But yeah, Sandwich, awesome. We're gonna hope to host it in the fall this year. We still think that trying to have it in June might be a little too soon. But we are all
Yeah,
amped
that might
up,
be.
and we're planning for it in the fall. So fingers crossed.
Yes.
Nice.
So one of the
Very
really
cool.
big projects that you have done and kind of took the lead on was during the pandemic. And I don't know how many people out there, they may or may not know, but food insecurity as a result of, before the pandemic existed, as a result of the pandemic, it got even worse. And we have like hundreds of kids on Cape Cod, which is shocking to a lot of people. I forget the exact statistic that are going hungry, whether it's when they come home every day or on the weekends or on these vacations. And the pandemic really exasperated that. There was a child off Cape that actually died as a result of starvation. And that shouldn't happen. In this day and age, that should never happen. And, there's been a lot of nonprofits that have come together and a lot of businesses that have stepped up. And that was one of the programs you started in, kind of stepped up with Marshland during the pandemic and feeding local kids, making sure that no kid went hungry.
Yeah. So for the last, I'm going to say probably decade, we've partnered with the Sandwich Partnership for Families. And what they do is they provide meals to these food insecure students who depend on school to provide their meals, which there's a decent amount in Sandwich too. No town is free and clear of it. And I reached out to Lauren Malillo, executive director, as soon as I heard the schools were shutting down, because, typically for vacations or summer break, she'll reach out to us in years past, and, we'll help her get some stuff together. And, the answer from her was, we don't know what we're going to do yet. Sandwich was in a really, really weird spot, which we didn't know until the following week, that their percentage is so low, of the total student body who's considered food insecure. So they actually had to wait for further okays from, I think I heard it comes from like the agricultural department and then trickles down.
Wow.
So, I want to say like 30 or 40% is kind of the line. So, Barnstable, they have a higher percentage. So they were able to do something immediately. So that Friday, I tried to reach out to the superintendent to see what the plan was. We knew that these students in the past had needed help. We posted on Facebook on Saturday that we were going to offer just a school breakfast and lunch for the price that the school would charge. And we got thousands of dollars in donations from our guest community.
Wow.
So we ended up actually offering them for nothing. It took the town about 10 days to get their program approved and up and running. So at that point, we took, the product and the extra money And we loaded up trucks from Cisco and had them deliver food to the schools. So I always describe it was very fluid. It was like an idea that turned into a thing that turned into fundraising and, sending thousands of dollars of food, directly from the purveyors to the school once,
That's
they got
amazing.
place. But, Matt over at the program that they run the school lunches through is a great guy. Pam Gould was helpful and helped us kind of facilitate the moving parts of it. So, it might have been born in Marshland, but it was really a community effort and everybody stepped up. So.
And then again, that goes back to how great of a community I think the Cape really is. And I just looked up the statistics. So just so everyone knows, the state line where they determine poverty is high for the Cape. That when you're doing a housing or fooding, they go at 80% of the area median income. And the majority of the people living here year round are actually below that area median income. There's been talk about getting it adjusted. But 1 in 6 children on Cape Cod are food insecure and school-age children. And 1 in 6, that's crazy when you think about that. There's probably a lot of families, what's documented by the schools or the Department of Agriculture is probably not 100% accurate. And it's probably been made worse by the pandemic. So, I commend you and the community. It takes an effort. It takes a whole community and to come together for one of our most vulnerable populations. It's critical because these kids need that support. They need that, there are kids going home and for whatever reason, they're not eating on those weekends. And that's terrible because that should not be a thing ever. So, I urge any of you get involved with your community and help with these types of programs or even Cape Kids meals and things like that. So Brandon, let's talk about your awesome recipes. So you gave us 2 recipes, a smoothie, which was super easy, and the soup, which a little more challenging, and we're going to talk about it. Should we start with the smoothie real quick?
Oh my God. I'm
Yeah.
still sweating about the soup.
I had my son Finn, the older boy of the boys. When he was young, he had really, really bad eczema. And we kind of refused to take the doctor's, which was, hey, he'll probably grow out of this. It's common in kids. It's, common in children with autism. Don't worry about it. Now, as a parent, you do worry about it. The kid's uncomfortable. We actually took him to a holistic doctor and tried to pinpoint foods that he was sensitive to. For kids on the spectrum, there's such a brain-gut connection. So we were given a list of foods that he could eat and that he couldn't eat. And that's where the smoothie kind of came from because it was something that we would let sit in the refrigerator. It would kind of firm up. We would add things to it. Honestly, the same with the soup. We used to make him a turkey quinoa meatloaf because it was kind of one of the few things he could eat. And the only way we could get him to eat it with is if we would mix it with that sweet potato soup. So, it was an attempt to fit all those things that he needed nutritionally while still dealing with, a young child who's 3 or 4 years old. And every kid is
Oh my gosh.
You can try all you want. Their resolve is ironclad when it comes to the food that they will eat. So don't feel like you're failing if you're having a hard time because it feels like it's pretty much.
Unless it's dino nuggies and French fries, we're having a hard time over here.
Well, what I liked about these is the kids, I found that by involving them, they were more apt to try it. Like if I had just made the soup myself and then said, you got to try this, we always try something at least once, they would have fought me tooth and nail. But because they had ownership over it and were part of that process, they were willing to try it. So I want to show you this video, Brandon, of the kids. We'll start with the smoothie and then we'll show you the sweet potato of the kids doing this. I'm going to hide myself really quick so I can bring it up. Hold on one second.
Oh my gosh, what was that?
To make this awesome strawberry banana smoothie with the kids, you only need 3 minutes, and it yields 2 each, which are 8-ounce portions. You need 8-ounce yogurt, 1 ripe banana, and 1 cup sliced fresh strawberries. First, slice your strawberries. Then peel and slice your bananas. Then add yogurt, any choice of flavor. You can also try adding different types of fruit to get different flavors, colors, whatever you decide. It's really about the creativity and what the kids are going to be into. Add all the ingredients to a blender and blend until smooth, approximately 30 seconds. Divide the 2 cups and enjoy. This recipe also works great as a smoothie bowl base. Put in a wide bowl, top with an additional fresh fruit, nuts or dry fruit, chia seeds, and more.
Ready?
3, 2, 1. Pretty good.
That's really good. Yum.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Alright, make your own smoothie with this recipe. I'm telling you, it's the bomb. Yeah, make some yogurt with strawberry. It's the best. It tastes amazing. Make sure.
So that smoothie recipe was obviously a big hit with the kids.
Yes, they love that.
Really easy. We had it again for breakfast this morning. And it's got the fruit and the yogurt in it. So it's got the protein and then 2 fruits. And I thought it was great.
It's so good.
I think it works good as a bowl too. If you throw it in a cereal bowl and you can top it with, dried fruit or nuts or additional fruit, chia seeds. It's an easy way to hide.
We
things.
threw some protein powder in it too. I mean, it could
Awesome.
be.
Yeah, I
I
did
mean,
that
and
too.
we actually used Greek yogurt, and it was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I threw this this evening when we got home, or this afternoon, I threw in some chocolate yogurt with the strawberries and the banana, so it had this chocolatey flavor. And the older one was really into that one. Let's share the soup real quick. Could you guys hear the sound on that last one? You could hear the kids. Okay, perfect. Let's share the soup because I found the soup really, really good, and I know Kelly found it a little challenging. I, in particular, found the grating of the zucchini very challenging, but that was the utensil I chose to use. So we'll let.
I was angry with the zucchini. I was angry.
My
with
wrists
the
were
zucchini.
hurting, Brandon. My wrists were killing me.
Brandon, what do you use to grate a zucchini?
I
Yeah.
use a box grater.
Ooh, like
What
the
does that
big
mean?
one. The big
Yeah,
one.
Big one.
Oh, like the.
Yep.
Oh, see, that was my
I
first
use the
mistake.
Cuisinart to shred it up too.
Yeah. That would
Yeah.
work. And again, you're cooking that zucchini long enough. What you're trying to do with it and then hide it. You want it to, just completely kind of turn to mush. Get those veggies in there without the kids really knowing. So
Yeah,
Got it. All
that's
right.
always a
See,
challenge.
I
All
went
right.
into this all wrong. All right, go ahead.
To make the sweet potato bisque, you will need 3 peeled and diced sweet potatoes, 3 ribs of celery sliced very thin, 2 cups of grated zucchini, 2 tablespoons of honey or agave syrup, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 4 cups of rice milk, and some water. Peel and dice the sweet potatoes. Cut up and slice really thin 3 ribs of celery. Grate up 2 cups of zucchini. Add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Add 2 tablespoons of honey or agave syrup. Add 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Add 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Add 4 cups of rice milk, or you could use coconut milk. Add water to cover. Combine all the ingredients in a heavy bottom stock pot. Think like when you would use to make beef stew or boil pasta, and bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, turn down to a simmer and cook until the sweet potatoes are soft. Allow it to cool to room temperature before transferring to a blender in batches, and puree until smooth. Allowing it to cool to room temperature isn't 100% necessary, but keep in mind if you blend this mix hot and it shoots out of the blender, it can be dangerous. Serve up and enjoy.
So it's recording now? Okay. I'm gonna try the soup without potato chip. Pretty good.
I thought it was good too. I liked it. What do you think? You taste the sweet potato?
Yeah, I do.
So thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
Thumbs in the middle.
Oh, all right, that's pretty good. I'll take
Now I
that.
need to eat a potato chip. It is good. I didn't tell you. You need to try this. You need to try this recipe. Olivia, you need to try this. Olivia, I promise you it's good. Only one
Just a little bit. That's too big.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Good, right? Want to take another sip? Yes, Frank. You have to make one. They're super duper yummy. Olivia, you want to try another bite? That's too big. I don't think I'll eat the rest home like this. All right, she's up. I'll take another sip. I'm the star, though. I'm the star of the show. The star. Try these recipes at home. We hope you like them. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Ring the bell.
So obviously my kids enjoy being in front of the camera a little bit, but I think the soup was a hit, as you know, for kids that, my kids at least, that fight me tooth and nail on vegetables. This was on point.
Like it. Izzy liked putting we didn't have the shoestring potatoes that you suggested, but so I'm like, ooh, potato chips. Like crunch some of those up. That was really good.
Yeah.
Change the texture a little. That's
Exactly. Yeah. And add a little more saltiness too and a crunch.
Yep.
Good.
Absolutely.
Wait, so you'd put shoestring potatoes or what else under that soup?
I used potato chips that I crunched up. They're smaller pieces.
Oh,
It's
okay.
good.
That was smart.
I know it sounds
You didn't have
weird,
to
but I
grate
read it in the
those, did
recipe.
you?
Did you do what?
You didn't have to grate those, did you?
Oh, no.
You and
No.
the grater are not friends right now. I will tell you right now. That grater's lucky it's still in this house right now.
It was a challenge with that grater. I'm telling you, I was like, oh my God, we have to do 2 cups of this. Oh my gosh.
You guys have no idea. My kids were like, "What's wrong? Mom's cooking." And I was like, I'm not sure what this is, but I'm going to give it a fair shot. That's what I'm going to do.
David says, Kelly, just get the frozen ones.
Oh,
Next time.
love it.
They can blend it up after. Brandon, do your kids participate and help when you cook? Do you get them involved?
a little bit. My older son is always very interested. He was a lot of help this past Christmas. He was picking mushroom stems and separating herbs for me. My youngest told me that he wanted to be a chef. And when I told him my favorite part of being a chef was I got to try all these different foods, quickly decided that being a chef wasn't for him. So it was a little to keep him out of the industry. But, you know, I think as they get older, they get more involved. So
Absolutely.
Definitely.
What are their favorites that you make?
Their clear favorite is pancakes, without a doubt.
Yeah. Our house too.
But you know, every opportunity we get, every weekend that I'm not working, it's always pancakes. So
pancakes are always a win, I think. What other tricks do you use to like hide in? I have a chocolate chip zucchini cookie recipe that I've hid zucchini in. It's not the healthiest, but you know, because there's still sugar, but
I always just try to.
So why put the zucchini in it?
well, because it's got a little bit of health, right?
Then you get to eating a vegetable.
mentally.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you.
What other tricks do you use, Brandon?
You know, I love to use the blender because at that point you can kind of mix those things in. I'll also shamelessly plug my wife is the co-owner of Hometown Juice and Company in Sandwich.
Absolutely.
Juice.
I love that.
Juices are a really easy way to try to get some good nutrients. You know, it's a handful of spinach mixed into like an apple, carrot, pear, orange juice, and all they're going to taste is the sweetness. They're not even going to realize that they're getting the good stuff in there too. So,
well,
That's so true.
I like it. So let's talk really briefly. What are your biggest challenges? We've talked about all the food stuff, but what for you personally, what's your biggest challenge as a parent?
Personally, it's time management.
Yeah.
Time balance. Trying to fit everything in without it feeling, you know, contrived and rushed. And, you know, kids need downtime, kids need good time. But at the same time, and we've noticed this stemming from my son with autism, but kind of, you know, trickling down to my younger son, Brody, you know, structure is important, and they like it and they thrive in it, and trying to keep a schedule. But at the same time, they're still kids. They have to have fun.
Absolutely.
You know, I talk about that ironclad resolve. I will tend to walk away from battles if I think that the argument is going to be worse in the long run than just getting it done. And then you circle back to it later. And when all else fails, robbery and just idle threats of taking something away or kind of.
Can I ask a quick question when you
Yeah.
talk about battles? So everyone has this perception that chefs like literally like below their top, right? Like they have this like free pass to like lose their shit for lack
Can
of
you
a
tell
better
we all
word.
watch Below Deck?
Yes. So like you seem very calm, cool, and collected. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been in a kitchen where you've literally like flown off the rails?
All right.
And
So
be honest.
I'm going to be 100% honest. So I feel like I'm in a weird demographic of chef where when I was growing up in the industry, flying off the handle was almost like a prerequisite for a chef,
Right.
for a good chef. We've evolved out of that a little bit in the industry. I used to make jokes about like, oh, good, now sensitive people are allowed in kitchens too, because you needed to have thick skin in old school kitchens, you know, where a chef's word was law and it was absolute, and it doesn't happen like that. You know, when we see it on Below Deck, it's 100% for the show.
Yeah.
But I think if you walked into just about any professional kitchen these days, that's not how it is. I always make jokes to my staff where they'll say that I yelled at them, and I will remind them that I have never once raised my voice. That's involved in yelling, and you know, taking corrective action is different. But I grew up with chefs yelling and screaming at me, and every once in a while I do miss the good old days. But it's not like it used to be. you
Well,
look
and
at
the
the
reason
rise
why
of
I ask is because, and not to interrupt you, but I don't know how old you are, but I'm assuming we're around the same age. And I was a waitress. Like my summer job for like my entire life was waitressing, and it was like you knew when you couldn't go in the kitchen, and if you did,
Yes.
they weren't responsible for what was going to happen. So, but it's interesting.
you know,
It's a scary thing.
the culture of the individual location is always so big. I worked at a
Of
really big
course.
place down on the water. It was a lot of younger staff, and there was a lot more sophomoric stuff that went on, as compared to Marshland, which is family owned and operated, and it's just more of a community thing.
Yep.
One special thing about the restaurant industry is when you really are into it and you really love it, you find comfort in that chaos. When that
Right.
and when your station would fill up as a server and you're running around just hoping that you don't forget the ranch dressing and water with extra.
Right.
There is a little bit of it's thrilling. It's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like chefs got a bad rap because when the celebrity chef first came up, that was marketable on TV was, Gordon Ramsay yelling and screaming at people. Do I think Gordon Ramsay really runs his kitchens like that? No, I think there's payment value to it, which is why you see it. But yeah, chefs have to work under pressure. So
Yeah.
you're never going to find one who doesn't work well under pressure.
Speaking of Gordon Ramsay, his TikTok is hilarious. He looks for recipes.
Gordon Ramsay does TikTok.
Yeah, and he
my
looks
God.
at people who are cooking steaks in like toasters and then comment. It's kind of like getting your fix for that type of thing. It's amusing.
Oh my God.
Gordon Ramsay gets to
Love
say
it.
y'all think and don't have the guts to say out loud. So.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, before we start to wrap up here, every week we try to spread a little kindness in our community. And so we ask our audience, they can go via a link that we have to nominate someone who's deserving. And tonight, we always surprise them on the phone and we give the person a little gift basket just to kind of brighten their day. And we've got a bunch of things in here that are going to make this person very happy. And we are actually
I hope she answers.
I'm hoping she answers too. So last week we got lucky. The person answered. Sometimes they don't always answer. We leave them a message. So we're going to try and give, and if she's watching, Ann Howe a call right now. So we will put this on speaker and hopefully you guys can hear this. You can hear that, right?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Excellent. We're going to read to her why
If she's watching, she's going to be like, oh my God, Kelly, that's why you sent me the link, isn't it?
It is. Hopefully she's still enjoying a glass of wine. If not, we'll read it to her over on the message.
Oh, that makes me sad.
That's okay.
Your call has been forwarded to an
A random
voice
number
messaging
shows
system.
up and
Oh, I wouldn't pick up. I'd
7,
rather die
4,
than pick up
2,
a random
1,
number. Are you kidding me?
8, 6, 0, 2 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Ann. This is Amy from Cape Cod Moms on the Parent Pod, and I'm here with Kelly, Melissa, and Chef Brandon. And we are calling to surprise you with a little gift of kindness because you have been nominated by someone, actually Donna, because of how great of a friend you have been to her. And we're going to read to you something, and then hopefully you text or call me back so we can get you your gift. So I'm going to read this right now. I had a very bad accident in September of 2019. Although I am almost as good as new, I am extremely lucky and doing well. My recovery time was a little over a year. I've had an amazing support system from my family, friends, associates, and some of my community that heard of my accident even reached out. I am a very lucky and blessed lady. Although there are so many that I could nominate, I've chosen my friend Ann. Ann has been my biggest cheerleader. She has been at the ready through it all, even making time when she is busy volunteering at the Restore in Falmouth. The lunches, the dinners, the snacks, the books for me to read, the visits, the taking me for rides. She's done it all. Although I can't thank her enough. When I heard about this site for random acts of kindness, Anne was the first one that came to my mind. I'm sure there are many other deserving people out there, but my friend Annie, who would be there for so many, she has my vote. Thank you for your consideration. So, Anne, congratulations. Please text or call me back. Send me your address, and we're going to get you a gift because you're an amazing person, and we're so happy and you're so deserving of this. And we're sorry you couldn't pick up, but we will talk to you soon.
That made my eyes leak a little bit.
I know. It's like my favorite part every week. I love reading these stories because, you know, especially right now during the pandemic and this was, you know, beyond that, but you know, there's so many great people out there and those are the people, you know, the news is always full of, I don't know what else to say, bullshit. It's constant negative bullshit. And it just drains you. And so I love that we get a chance to highlight the people in our community, the unsung heroes that are doing the work behind the scenes, because you can't thank those people enough, because that really shows the best of humanity and the best of this community. So I'm grateful for people like Anne and all the people we've recognized here. So before we start to wrap up here, Brendan, is there anything exciting coming up at Marshland you want to highlight, or even at Meg's at the juice bar in Sandwich?
Yeah, it's this time of year is always terrible, as much as I hate to say that so blatantly. It's, you know, January and February are rough on Cape Cod. We do have some Valentine's Day specials coming this weekend at Marshland 2 and Marshland 3A. We have shut down the 6A location downtown probably until around the beginning of March. With the 25% occupancy, they only have 44 seats at full staff. So, you know, 11 seats was really hard. So we're just kind of getting some down there. I do know that the juice bar, maybe sometime in March, plans on closing for a few days to renovate and then opening back up with some new offerings. So if you haven't been there, it's in Canterbury Plaza in Sandwich, in between Two Brothers and Penny Lane. And, you know, just trying to get through the winter. I say we have 6 weeks left, but March is always a really interesting month for weather around here. So
maybe we have to reach out to Meg, because I would love to chat with her about the juice bar and
yeah, she would love it.
We would love that. So we'll have to chat more about that. I think we've got some room once she opens up at the end of March and into April and May. That would be a great way to highlight that.
Awesome.
Ladies, any other parting thoughts before we pick our, we've got, looks like 2 people have entered our question of the night, and we all have to answer too. So if you remember, the question of the night was, who are the 3? I know, right? I guess it wasn't as fun as punching a panda last week. Okay.
I guess not. People want to punch animals. I guess
they want the violent question.
The question of the night.
They want violence, I guess. I don't know. Right. So we got Deborah.
Next week, you people have no idea.
So we got Deborah Sanchez, who says the 3 people she would pick are Michelle Obama, Jerry Seinfeld, and Morgan Freeman in her celebrity entourage.
That's a good one. I like that.
Oh, I like it.
I like Morgan Freeman especially. That's a great one.
That is a great one. I kind of feel like a jerk with what I picked.
Amy Wyman has nominated. She would like James Franco. Ooh, going for the net. Love him though. Neil deGrasse Tyson and Steven Spielberg. Oh my gosh! Every time I hear Steven Spielberg, I just think of the South Park episode of him going down in the submarine.
That's not what you think of when you hear that name.
It is actually. I always picture that.
You have problems.
All right. I need to know what you guys would all pick for that.
Brandon, what would you go first?
Yeah.
All right. This was tough. I'm not going to lie, but I went with Julia Childs because I feel like she knows more about, or she's forgotten more about cooking than I know. I went with Johnny Cash because I feel like it's just a nice, easy vibe. And then I finished up with Rob Gronkowski because who has more fun?
Oh my God, I love it.
I don't know. Tom Brady might have had more fun at that celebratory party.
Just one time though.
That was the greatest videos I've ever seen in my life.
Thank
Yeah.
God he picked up the trophy and not Vivi next to him, though.
Yeah.
Could have been another situation. Who did you pick, Cal?
I picked Adam Sandler,
Oh, yeah.
Justin Timberlake, and Beyonce. I mean, can you imagine that group walking down the street, by the way?
I like that. I like Adam. Adam Sandler's hilarious.
Oh my God, I'm in love with him. Everything. I just am. I just can't with him. It's so funny.
What
All
about
right. How about you, Mel?
I totally did not have a third one yet. I had Michelle Obama and Dan Levy. And I don't have a third one.
Not sure on the third one yet, huh?
No.
I bet your third one was Jay-Z, wasn't it?
Totally right. How'd you know?
I knew it. I knew it. All right, Aim, you?
So I actually also had Adam Sandler, Mark Wahlberg, because I think he's hilarious. I've watched Daddy's Home way too many times. 1 and 2. 2's my favorite. And then I was blanking on the name, but Kristen Cavallari's hairstylist guy. I think
Oh my God, I love
him or Jeff
him.
Lewis. I like Jeff Lewis too. He's a little neurotic, but he's a straight shooter. I enjoy him.
Brandon, have you ever seen the Wahlburgers at the Wahlburgers?
The actual show?
Wahlburgers. Yes.
The show, yeah, it's funny. But
No, but I'm wondering because didn't you work at a place or weren't you near where Wahlburgers was?
Yeah, so I worked across the street. So Paul Wahlberg.
Did you ever see Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, it's funny actually. Mark Wahlberg came in. I'm sorry, Donnie Wahlberg came in to one of our restaurants and left a $2,020 tip.
wow.
Oh, I love the Wahlbergs.
In December. I've met Mark, Donnie, and Paul. They're all really super cool guys. They're very down.
That's so cool. It seems like it, and you hope that they are, but you just don't know.
They make inappropriate jokes like the rest of us. They laugh.
I love it.
I've met their mother, Alma. She is a spinner. I used to make jokes when Donnie Wahlberg would come in like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and want breakfast at Marshland. And knowing his mother, if he wasn't up in time for breakfast, he wasn't getting breakfast.
Right.
So,
what about Jenny McCarthy? Have you ever met Jenny McCarthy?
just quickly, she used to come in with Donnie every once in a while.
Oh my God.
Just very down to earth. They're
I
not.
love it.
Yeah, they're not looking for the red carpet. Sometimes I think they liked Marshland because it was kind of quiet and set.
I'm sure.
And there wasn't, it wasn't a big deal when they were in. They were just.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, I just put this into random.org, and our winner tonight is Amy Wyman of a gift card to Marshland Restaurants. So we'll be getting that out to you, Amy. PM me your address. Just kidding. I actually already know it. But I used to rent that house. So thank you for Chef Brandon for donating the gift card for our question of the night. And we'll have some more fun questions. I guess we're going to have to go back to violence for next week to get some more answers.
I know. Clearly my tone needs to change.
Yeah, right. So just a reminder, please submit questions for our guests. Share your funny stories. We'll keep them anonymous, the ones that come in on that form. And let us know what you want to see. We want to do things that our audience wants to see. Coming up in the next couple weeks, next week we have Erin Edwards and Sarah Glover. Erin's from Upper Cape Aesthetics and has been on before, and Sarah Glover is an expert at the UV facials. And then the following week we have Jacob Stapleton from Children's Cove to talk about their upcoming block party.
Awesome.
Followed by Nicole Mitchell, who does fundraising for Kind Hearts for Kids, which is foster care. And then we'll have some fun episodes. And then later, as we go into spring, we're going to have Mike Morrison from Ride Away Adventures, Lissa Perna from Get Outside Cape Cod, and Chef Rachel Hargrove from Below Deck. Brandon, you're going to want to watch that one.
Can't wait.
Eat my cooter. I cannot wait for that. So looking forward to it. So it's a lot of fun. Brandon, I'll let you have the last word. Leave us with a lasting thought before we kick off here.
I just hope everyone has a really nice Valentine's Day weekend and enjoy the last couple moments of sanity leading up to school vacation weekend.
I love it.
There's going to be a lot of outdoor
Awesome.
time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you so much for coming, Brandon. Just hang on while we shoot off here. Always enjoyable. We really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week, 8 p.m. for the Parent Pod. And we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Bye.